Hi everyone, and welcome back to Change is Possible podcast. I'm your host, Ani Filipova, and in today's episode, it's just you and me. We're going to dive into a topic that I believe many of you can relate to, that feeling of being stuck in your job. But here is the thing. Feeling stuck is not the end of the road. It's actually a sign that it's time for a change, a shift in direction, or a new approach to your work and life. I've been there and I've navigated through it. Today, I'm going to share with you the exact approaches that worked for me. If you find these tips helpful, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Your feedback helps shape our future episodes and supports others in our community. See you inside. It's such a paradox, isn't it? The world is undergoing so much change, with every shift bringing new opportunities, yet so many people feel completely trapped, unsure of what they should do next. If the work environment is bad, or if you're overlooked for promotions. But there is more to it than just that. Let's look into it. Firstly, there is the paradox of choice. Every change opens doors to new possibilities, but it can be overwhelming. It's like standing at a crossroad with countless paths leading in different directions. The pressure to choose the right path, the fear of missing out, it can be paralyzing. Second is the fear of change. We are creatures of habit, and even though change is constant, it's still one of our biggest fears. The uncertainty, the what ifs, they can be daunting, making the safety of our comfort zones more appealing than the risk of venturing into the unknown. Third, the skill gap. As our world evolves rapidly, the skills that we have and are in demand yesterday might not be enough tomorrow. This constant need to update skills can leave many feeling unprepared and outpaced, adding to the sense of being stuck. And fourth, information overload. In this age of digital overload, we are swamped with information. Filtering through it to find what is relevant for our career or life is a task in itself, adding another layer to the feeling of being stuck. And fifth, the pressure of societal and economic expectations. We are expected to follow a societal script. You go to college, find a job, work hard to move up the ladder, and then one day retire. This expectation make exploring alternative paths, taking a career break, or pursuing unconventional jobs even more difficult because it's not what everyone else is doing. So understanding what we truly want and what to do next is tricky with all these factors. But there is a way out of this situation. Let me share some of my personal experiences of navigating through this maze. In my case, I had a great job, which I liked. There was a lot of learning, and on top of that, I was involved in leading some of the most exciting change and transformational initiatives. Every day was different from the previous one. But several years into my job, I started thinking, is this it? And what is next? I assumed this was the usual urge to change a job, and I started looking around within my organization as I used to do before. I was looking for another regional job or a risk job or move to a global position. But after looking around for quite some time, I realized that nothing appealed to me. Then I decided to seek advice from mentors and peers because sometimes an outside perspective can provide clarity you might not have found on your own. They might see potential in you that you haven't recognized in yourself. Unfortunately, that didn't help either. And then I said to myself, okay, maybe it's time to look outside of my company. So I started taking calls from headhunters and received offers with more money and better positions. And this is when I realized two critical things. First, these offers were slightly different from what I was working, but they would eventually lead back to the familiar cycle of same old, same old. And the second, I realized it wasn't about the money. Although higher salary would be tempting, I realized it wasn't worth it, as it would mean spending more time stuck in an environment where I'd have to rebuild trust and credibility in a new setting. So in the meantime, I also ventured outside of my bubble of finance and banking. One day, I attended an event where entrepreneurs had to deliver a pitch for their business in under 3 minutes. So I saw industries I knew nothing about, products I never thought existed, services I never imagined possible, and opportunities I never realized existed. After that event, my brain was buzzing. I couldn't stop thinking about all the possibilities beyond my bubble. It was like a switch had flipped in my mind. This was my turning point. This process helped me first to realize what I didn't want, and then it sparkled my imagination about the life I truly wanted. After exhausting all other external options, I had no choice but to delve deeper within myself. I had to uncover my true aspirations, no matter how fantastical they seemed. And finally, it was clear to me that I wanted, first, the freedom to work on projects that I'm passionate about, alongside people I respect and enjoy. Second, the flexibility to decide my work location and schedule. And third, more quality time for personal pursuits and with my family. In fact, this was not entirely new thought for me, but considering how drastically different it was from my high flying corporate career, it seemed almost too far fetched, like a fantasy I shouldn't ever entertain. Much of my experimentation was to check if there was a more societal, acceptable path that I could take. However, it became clear that there wasn't. With this newfound clarity about what I truly wanted, the big question now loomed before me. How do I turn this vision into reality? How do I make it happen? So stay tuned for the next episode where I'll share the journey of how I turned these dreams into my new reality. Bye for now.